Get everybody, thanks for stopping by. As a YouTuber, there's been a number of milestones that I think are noteworthy. Now the reason I'm talking about milestones is I've actually reached another one here at the moment by receiving this product. This is a 200 watt Yuma Cigs flexible solar panel from Bouge Rv. Now, as a YouTuber, I consume a hell of a lot of content as well. I don't even watch TV. Now, Bouge Rv is just a name that I've seen pop up in videos over and over and over and over. Now, typically these are an American-based company, and one of the channels that I watch, Hobo Tech, there's every chance that you've seen Hobo Tech and watched some of his videos. Now, I've seen him do a number of reviews on this panel exactly. He's literally shot holes in this thing and then tested it, and it was still outputting 100% of its rated power. So the milestone for me as a YouTuber is to be able to interact with a name that I've seen and that I've watched and that I've been following for some time now, in Bouge Rv. And again, you know, Hobo Tech, I think he's probably 100,000 subscribers. So when these guys reached out to me and said, hey, you know, would you like to grab something and have a look at one of our products? I was like, yeah, absolutely I would. This is a biggie for me. This is not your regular solar panel. This is a Yuma Cigs solar panel. We'll get into all the specs of that. We'll put it all up on the screen because I'm not going to be able to remember all of it. But these things are literally, I'll say bulletproof. They took some holes, but they kept on trucking. So, which is interesting that it says fragile on the side, because these things ain't. Another thing that I wanted to mention in relation to Bouge Rv that I wasn't aware of is that they also now have an Australian presence. So there is an Australian website. So when I put links and stuff down to the products where you can find them, etc., that will be to the Australian website for my Australian viewers, but I'll also include other links there as well for my non-Australian viewers. I hope you're going well. You've got no idea the amount of effort that it took me to leave this thing sitting inside the box without pulling out and just having a look at it. I hope you're going to be just as excited about this thing as I am. Now, yeah, send it to me for the purpose of review. It didn't cost me a red cent. So thanks to Bouge Rv. I think like most of you that are watching this, you love tech, you love new stuff, I love innovation, certainly in this arena, the solar arena, and this is no different. So I suppose firstly, it comes in this box. So you can see that it's been rolled up, literally has been rolled up, and that's how flexible these panels are. And this is one of the things that makes them unique there as well. Straight out of the box, we've got a user manual. You get 16 pages of English there at the start. There's a list here of all the benefits and pros in relation to using the Cigs type solar panel, which this is. Other than it being extremely flexible, as you can tell by the way it's packaged, flex modules are lightweight and won't injure people or property in high winds or earthquake. That's interesting for me because I have had a solar panel come off a car roof. That's why I'm going towards flexible panels now for my installs. Weight saving is massive. This thing is like 3 kilos or something like that. Bouge Rv does offer all of your different solar panel configurations in the Cigs with either an adhesive backing or just no adhesive backing on it as well. 3.83 kilos, so sub 4 kilos or 8.44 pounds. For those of you not using metric. Open circuit voltage is 30.4 volts, so I do prefer a mid to higher range voltage on my solar panels, just from an installations perspective as far as wiring, etc. goes. So this fits right in the middle of that. Anywhere sort of from that 30 to 50 volts I'm happy with per panel. This gives me more flexibility as far as installs, etc. goes. We're operating temperature limits up to 85 degrees C. Now if we're going to mount this on a caravan roof, then that's going to be very important. What I want to suss out on this is size. I think this is a bit longer than the panels that I've currently got earmarked for installing on the caravan. You can understand the excitement that I've got in getting my hands on one of these, and also my reluctance to damage this thing. This is going to be like my baby. That being said, it's a solar panel, so it needs to get used. It's going to get thrown on the ground. It's going to get walked on. The birds are going to shit on it. All of the above. Ultimately, what I want to do is just get it out of the box and just have a quick look at it. Wow. This is nice. This is really, really nice. It's just so different. But you can see just how flexible this thing is. It's almost just folding 180 degrees back. Well, I suppose it is. Not right here, that's the joint, but trying to find something that I can explain to you how this feels. It's just smooth. There's no ETFE coating on it, like you would see on some of the solar panels, that dimpled coating that we typically associate with longevity and sturdiness of panels. This is a completely different beast altogether. So up to this point, however you've been thinking of solar panels, hit the reset button and let's start again. Bouge Rv offers a 10-year warranty on these as well. Specs up on the screen. So 200 watt solar panel, it is listed as a 24 volt solar panel. Again, open circuit was around about the 30.4 volts. Short circuit 9.48, but we can expect to see around about 8.5 amps out of this. We do have standard MC4 connectors on this. Connection point here, where our junction box, well insulated. It's got some rubber gasket grommet around it as far as waterproofness. Okay, so one thing I've been doing is just having this panel sitting out in the sun. Because it's been in that rolled up position, it was holding that form. So I've thrown it in the sun for a few hours and just picking that up. Look, it's gonna be 40 something odd degrees here in Australia today, where I'm located. So it's gonna be a bloody hot day. What I wanna do is throw this up on the roof of the caravan and just see the performance in the heat. Cigs panels, the better performance in the low light conditions, so your earlier morning and your evening type conditions. You generally get better performance out of them in an overcast type conditions as well. So sort of those fringe type conditions. These are functional, I think it's something to like 85 degrees they will handle. Now if you follow the channel, you know that I've got those all power solar panels out the front that I was about to throw onto the van. All the feedback that I've had re flexible solar panels is you're gonna get a couple of years out of them and then they're gonna be no good. That's where your Cigs come into line. Don't get the lamination of these panels. There's no glass, there's no cracking, no hazing that's gonna happen on this. ETFE panels have certainly come a long way as far as improving the robustness of the panels themselves and I guess the coating that's on the panel to try and get some sort of longevity out of them. Ultimately, especially here in Australia, throw something out in the sun, the Australian sun will destroy things. I mean, literally destroy things that you didn't even think were possible. That's why I think these Cig panels are gonna be perfect for this type of scenario. What I'm trying to build with the UEV 490, and I guess this is something that's a little bit unique to the van, is it's a rugged design. Like it's an off-road caravan. So we're putting the battery in it. I'm currently looking at water systems, have a few things that I've ordered to allow myself to access water off-grid, to filter it, etc., fill up the tanks for water. I'm in the process of wiring it up. I've got one 300 amp hour lithium. Probably, if I'm honest, I'm probably not going to be able to help myself and go and throw another 300 amp hour in the back. So what I want is longevity out of the panels. I want to throw something up on it and just forget about it. Now, I've no doubt that I'm going to be able to throw the all powers up there on the roof, and probably more than happy with those, at least for a few years. But you've got this Cig solar panel, rather than your 2-year warranty that you've got on some other panels, some of them only 12 months, 10-year warranty on a flexible solar panel. Now, how much confidence does that give you? Now, I've got to test that theory, so come back in 10 years and we'll have a chat. And it was suggested by Hobotech that the adhesives that are actually on this provide sufficient space for cooling. Now, whilst I don't necessarily believe that to be 100% true, at this point, I'm gonna have to yield to his experience. He has much more time playing with solar panels out in the boonies and all that sort of stuff. The only consideration I have with that roof is, again, it's metal. The good news is I really don't have any concerns as far as, we've already damaged the paint, having solar panels just resting on it from the heat. It's not gonna catch on fire, so that's a good thing there. Ultimately, it comes down to whether this panel, with its flexible nature, is going to be able to match that profile of the roof. And it might be able to do that. This is a perfect thing for somebody with a teardrop type trailer where you've got that, you know, that curve in it. These aren't cheap. Let's address the elephant in the room. This, before discount, in Australia, I've seen various prices online and I have put this to Bouge Rv. And I said, look, when I originally had a look at them, they were around about the 900 bucks. Today I jumped on and they were around about 700, but then there's a Black Friday sale on that brings them down to $599. And then there's like another discount that you can get with 23% or something for Black Friday. So currently these things are $511 on the Australian Bouge Rv website per 200 watt solar panel. So for the one that we've been doing the review on. That being said, if this tests good and I can get it to conform to the profile of the roof of the van, I'm seriously considering getting rid, or not getting rid, but not installing our 600 watts of all powers and just going with 2 of these and picking up another one. If I'm gonna get 10 years out of this, some say 25, yet to be tested obviously, versus probably the realistically 2 years that I was expecting to get out of the all powers or any other flexible current generation solar panel that I was thinking of putting up there. If I can double the lifespan or quadruple it, then I think I'm well in front. The other thing, again, it really fits in with the nature of this caravan in that it's a rugged beast, can go anywhere, it's off-road, and ultimately, I'd like to match that with anything that I add on to the caravan. If I can do that with solar panels, I'll be happy as a pig in it. And let's face it, it's the new gear. Everybody likes new gear. So, shut up. Let's climb on top of that van with a 3.5 kilo solar panel and just roll it out and just see what the profile looks like up on that van. See whether it's realistic for me to think that it's going to follow that profile of that roof. I'm going to throw this up on top of the van, 40-degree day, see what it does to the panel, and we'll see what it does to that roof as well. I gotta know. It's only one way to find out. Now there's one thing quickly I just want to touch on while I'm disconnecting some plugs here, is that now these things are meant to be robust. Part of the reason I'm so interested in it. And I have seen videos, again, if you go and look at the Hobotech video, and I encourage you 110% to go and have a look at that video where he puts literally bullets through this thing and then it still operates and drowns it as well after putting bullets through it, still operates. I'm interested to see that when I was pulling it out of its box yesterday and dragging it across the floor, this coating here is already quite scuffed up. But, you know, I was dragging it across the rocks and the cement, and you can see probably it's already got some scratches on there. So that surprised me a little bit. Whilst I understand those scratches aren't going to impede performance at all, I was still surprised that it scratched as easy as it did. Okay, so we're going to try and work kind of quick here. Again, because that sun's up top, it's filthy. And things like that camera and my little tester here don't like the heat and will overheat as soon as look at me standing up here in the sun. So really quickly want to get it connected up. Again, just to try and beat this heat. And because I'm a bit crook and it's killing me standing out here climbing over caravans in this heat. So being crook lately for me is just a thing. So it is what it is. Let's punch through it. Let's put it on auto, get it to do a read. 147.4 watts. I would hope for more, if I'm honest. We almost have direct sunlight. We should be seeing pretty close to maximum, 132, 145. Not quite the performance figures I was hoping for. And I'll just get you a quick look at that. So 151 at the moment. Now that's with that profile there as well. Now the question has to be, obviously, that I need to put to myself is, am I better off having the 3 panels, and you can see where it's damaged this paint on the roof where we've had those panels. Am I better off to go with 2 of these in this profile? The other thing I can do is move these more to the middle. If you remember the tests on the other panel, this roof is odd with its corner pieces, which throws shade. So with just these 2 panels, I could move them more towards the center line and get away from that shading altogether, albeit that these would do better in the shading than the all powers, I would suggest. See whether once we get a bit of heat in this and it gets some flexibility, am I going to be able to just follow that profile and then just stick that down? And that's going to be such an easy install. Is a drop-in wattage, so from 400 watts, 158.1. Is the drop-in wattage going from 600 watts of panels to 400 watts of panels? Ease of install, I'll be so much happier for this thing to fly off the roof and hit another car than I would one of those other panels, and certainly more than a glass panel. So that gives me a bit more confidence. I can just order another one of these with the adhesive foil in the back, bring it home, clean the roof down, slap it down, and job's a good one. I don't know, and it at 150.6, it's really gonna need to impress me in that sort of shoulder time, if I'm honest, because right now, I can throw 2 panels that are, you know, $200 and $300 odd each up here and get around about 170 per piece. So an increase of 20 watts per panel. 162.8. I'll just try and quickly get you that. 162.8. So somewhere it is, we're starting to average around about that 160. So I'm much happy with that. Okay, so work smart, Jeff, not hard. So I'm now standing in the shade behind the van. We've got the Victron solar controller in there that's handling the power coming in from that solar panel. I don't currently have the shunt connected because it's literally just a battery just sitting there at the moment, just keeping the fridge running. So I don't know what the status of the actual battery is in there. Just saw 164 watts going into that solar controller from that panel. It's a big dice roll, isn't it? I'm starting to see similar results as far as just raw output to what I saw out of those ore powers. Now I've got 600 watts of those sitting there, 3 panels that I've already bought, 700 and something odd dollars worth of panels. Do I go and spend another 700 and something odd dollars for one more of these panels? I think I might spend 180 or something from those ore powers. So they did really well, but I think 170 odd would probably be about average, which is about what we're seeing here, 165. This is what I need from the panel for me to be able to confidently go in and order another one of these panels at $700 and throw it up here on the roof instead of those ore powers panels. One, I want to see it hit 170 watts, right? So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this across the day. 2, I want to see good performance in the evening light, which I guess I already kind of seen yesterday. I had another solar blanket out, budget and solar blanket that I was testing. So what that other panel was doing was cutting in and out. So just wasn't getting the voltage, enough voltage out to be able to kick off that solar controller and then charge that battery. It was just outputting nothing. This Cigs panel, this Yuma Cigs, the Bouge Rv panel, that I've just thrown out on the cement just for shits and giggles, just to see how it went, it was still outputting power. And it was only about 60 watts or something like that, but 60 watts when you compared to getting nothing is a hell of a lot. So once that sun starts to go down, I want to see that this is still putting something out. And 3, if I can get that to match that profile to fit on that roof, I'll go and order another one and pay 700 bucks out of my own pocket. So currently we're sitting at 167 watts. It's only got to give me another 3 watts to tick that first box of 170 watts. Come on, one more watt, and we can check that box. That thing is going to be cooking on that roof, no doubt. So I'm just going to go and race and grab the hose. Just going to give that a squirt and just cool it down. I reckon we'll get up over that 168. I reckon we'll crack that 170. Now, I've just got to let the water cool down out of this hose because it is filthy hot there as well. We're still seeing 168, so that seems to be, you know, standard. As soon as we start putting some water on this, I almost guarantee you that we'll jump up over that 170. 168 watts. Just about to hit it with the hose. Here we go. There you go. Look at that. How's that for you? 183. I'm going to keep going with this. What about now? 190. I'll tell you what, geez, I'm glad I did that. So for just wetting that down, cooling that panel down, we've just made an extra 20 watts out of nothing. So that's good. So on a cooler day, not 40 odd degrees out in the sun, plus I would say, then we can see 190, 191 I think we've got. So that's a tick as far as the 170. And again, we're coming back down now. What I care about is what do they say I'm going to get and what do I get? I don't care about efficiencies and all that sort of stuff. I just want to know what I'm getting out of the panel. It's quite a bit of pooling of water up there, but it is what it is. We're going to leave that on there and just see what happens. This is the sort of stuff it's going to need to deal with in Aussie conditions.
that profile. I need to see the profile. So I'm gonna jump up now and have a quick look with the ladder, and I'll report back in a sec. Get our backsides up here. So you can see here, this is the profile of our roof. So you can see we've got a kicker here. And ultimately I'd probably like these back as far as possible. And you can see with that 190 odd watts, it was getting it with that profile. That sun's almost directly above. But what I need to see, we're gonna pull it closer to me to find out. Can we get that? Oh, she's hot. Can I get that profile there? And I reckon we can, look at that. I reckon once we put adhesive on that, hang on, I'm gonna need 2 hands here. I can get that all very close to, I think. What I'd like to do now is get it in the position, Jesus, that roof is. What I'd like to do is get it into the position where I would likely install it, which would be there, and just let it rest and see whether it's gonna eventually sort of start to conform to that. That'd be nice. Even if I could get it to that profile, I'd be happy with that. But I was able to get it, you know, almost to follow that profile exactly. So I think we would aim for that. You can see the damage the other panels had done to this roof. So I'll need to sort that out and give that a coating of something. And I probably should be putting something under this, to be honest, but I think we're gonna roll with it and we'll see what happens. My concern for the roof up there is that it's taken off the paint when we've had those other panels up there. And heat is heat. It doesn't care whether it's coming from a $700 panel or a $300 panel. So that's gonna continue to damage that paint. Now it is a metal roof, which means there's a possibility of rust. There's always some spots up there. I hate to say it, but I think core flute's gonna be a necessary evil. So I think these are gonna make for an easier install, and we're not gonna have that fitment issue that I had at the back with the other ones. I'll tell you right now though, if I was just literally trying to get solar panels on the caravan and get out there to go and use it, 300 bucks, sub 300 bucks a panel would be right up my alley, which is why I've got 3 of the mongrels sitting out the front. But because I've got this access and I've been able to test these panels, I think I just want to go this route. I don't know why. You know, I try and be as honest with you as I can. It's going to be nice to have the latest doohickey, you know, floating around on the caravan roof. I'm saving about half the weight, more than half the weight. I think those other ones were around about 6 kilos a panel. So it would have been about 18 kilos. These ones are around about 4 kilos, so I'm saving half the weight. I'm dropping a panel though, and I'm dropping 200 watts. So while we're here, things that I wanted to see. I wanted to see it do greater than 170. Tick that box. We saw 190 once I threw a bit of water on it and cooled it down. That is going to motivate me to put some core flute under it and try and insulate it. I wanted to see better performance, or I wanted to be able to follow that roof profile, and I've proven that we can do that. The final point was I wanted to see good performance in, I guess, the shoulder part of the day. This is when the sun's starting to get a little bit low, and I'm still seeing 50% output of this panel at 5 o'clock. And we'll jump up and we'll just give you a quick look at that. You can see that sun's not terrible in the sky, but it's certainly getting lower. And you can see our solar panel there. So it hasn't got any shading on it as yet. Got plenty of spots from that water though. As far as interacting with Bouge Rv, I did hit him up as far as a viewer discount. We should have something coming our way by the time I complete this video. So look down in the description. I'll tag it in the comment or something like that. So in testing the Bouge Rv Yuma Cigs 200 watt version panel that we've got here behind me, I know some people, and I'm getting really disillusioned with the YouTube thing as well. Probably I got to be as much as you guys, in that you can see so many different reviews out there that just aren't honest, and you know, I don't want to say they're being bought, but whatever. But and I will admit, it's a fine line to try and be honest, respectful of the person who provided you the product, and get out an honest review. As I've mentioned on the channel before, if I find a product that I don't like, or it doesn't work, or I'm not happy with it, then I just simply don't do the review. That's why typically when you see my reviews, you'll find they all tend to be positive. I only show you the products that I think are worth showing you. All right? Simple as that. When it comes to honesty as far as reviewing this Cigs 200 watt panel, I think the best way I can represent the product is to show you this. Is another one that I just went and bought with my own money. Now, when I say my own money, was my own money, these things are currently on sale. So initially I thought these were around about the $900 mark. I do see them for $7.99 on the Oz website. Discount down to $5.99, and then you've got another discount that you can add onto that, which brings it down to about $511 thereabouts, but then you get taxes. So for around about the $5.50, that's what you can pick these up for now. So I was willing to go and pick one up for the $7.99 price, FYI. But when I spotted and saw that they were down to sort of, you know, that $5.50, I thought, you beauty. Now, ordered this not last night, but the night before. So 2 days for delivery. Now, I think it's important to share this in that I've been doing the review on the panel, the one that was sent out to me for the purpose of review for free. But just to show you, money where my mouth is, so impressed with it. This is now what I want to put on the van, on the 490. Instead of those oil powers. Not that I've got any issues with those oil powers at all. I admit though, I fought with myself back and forth whether to go with the extra one of these panels, the extra Cigs panel, or just to go with the 600. But ultimately, you know, I saw good performance out of this, saw the 191 out of the 200 watt panel. It's going to make the install that much easier. It's going to reduce my wiring. It is going to reduce my output somewhat from 600 to 400. I'm saving a good amount of weight. I'm saving about half the weight of the install with this panel, and longevity, it just should last. So in theory, because we're putting these in a punishing sort of position on top of a hot metal roof with some insulation, they're really going to need to be able to handle that heat. And this new technology, the new Cigs panels, should be able to do that at least better than the older generation panels. All the feedback that I've seen, untested by me obviously, has suggested, you know, 2 to 3 years and your standard flexible panels are going to be breaking down, delaminating, cracking, all that sort of stuff. We're just not going to get that with these panels. So if it do, you'll be the first to know, I'll be the first to know, but I'll let you know straight away. But I'm really keen to see how these panels go, and I'm willing to chuck the dollars at it. Look, as far as the YouTube goes, and the amount of videos that I put out, if I was to put more, I would get more, but I get about $250 to $300 a month, I suppose. Views, clicks, all that sort of stuff. And then I get stuff sent to me for the purpose of review for free. And because I don't affiliate links, I don't have any other income coming in that way. I work just like everybody else. So that $300, you know, that I would have got, that I will get this month in a few days, will obviously subsidise the cost of that. So ultimately it's cost me about $200. So I don't want you to think I am completely going out there and just chucking money in it. Granted, that money could have gone towards something else. It is Christmas, but the few bucks that I make doing the YouTube thing, I like to try and chuck back into the YouTube thing, and I get new tech, and you know, I'm getting stuff. So you know, there's no complaints there. Anyway, that obviously a longer term review to come of these Cigs panels. Obviously an install video to come of these Cigs panels. We'll have to figure out how we do that. I need to tidy up that roof. I want to put some rust type protection down on it as far as the paint goes. And then we need to source some core flute and then get these stuck down. So I'm actually looking forward to that job now. I wasn't really looking forward to it at all, but now with these panels, simplicity, I think it's going to be an easy job. And then once we get all that done, we'll show you how they perform. If we have any issues along the lines, I'll let you know. Thanks Valentina from Bouge Rv to reaching out, taking a chance on the channel and interacting with me and getting this panel out to me nice and quick there as well. I'd like to think you would get your panels just as quick, and I would encourage Bouge Rv to keep that performance up. A couple of days from order to delivery was very, very impressive. So I hope you do that for everybody, not just people doing reviews. So with that said, everything from the Bouge Rv experience has been positive for me. But again, it's not quite that straightforward customer experience, let's be honest. They were sending it to me for the purpose of reviews. I like to think they're putting their best foot forward. One of the benefits of these panels being the fact that longevity, you know what we need to do now? We need to wait. We'll do that together. Thanks very much for stopping by. It was nice to see you again. Have a good new year. We'll catch you real soon, yeah? See ya.